Hello, everybody. We're gonna start getting ready now with our first webinar in the Runyon Surface Prep series here. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us for this presentation. And we're gonna get started here with Fredrik, who is the CEO and the owner of Von Arx. So Fredrik, if you want to take it away.
Hey, thanks, Kristen. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Fredrik.
Thanks. Hey, thank you, Runyon team, for setting this up and for inviting me to have this webinar. And also thank you to everyone that signed up and take time to listen. I really appreciate it. See if I can get this screen to move. There, a little bit about Von Arx. So the company was founded in 1941 when Mr. Paul Von Arx developed the first scarifier on the market. The company was privately owned up until Emerson acquired it in 2004. And they owned it and stayed in ownership up until 2019 when I acquired it. Company is now based in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. And we export our products up to 31 countries today. And since March, since last month, Runyon Surface Prep is our US distributor. A little bit about myself. So I've been around the surface prep industry for nearly 27 years, but that been through vacuum cleaners. I was the global sales director for Pullman Meter from 1993 until 2017. I moved to the United States in 2007 and started up Ermeter USA in Tampa, Florida. And in 2017, we divested Pullman Meter to Husqvarna Construction. And I spent the last 3 years as Global Business Development Manager for Husqvarna Surface Prep Division. So our product categories, it's the surface prep, which is shavers and scarifiers. We offer them in electric, gasoline, and diesel power. And the other line is pneumatic tools, where we mostly sell to the maritime sector, to vessels, offshore, ship, mines, and industrial paint. It's needle scalers, chisel hammers, and scabblers. We're going to focus on the shavers and scarifying today. So like mentioned before, scarifying is an old method. It was actually the first mechanical method of surface prep. And later came, as you know, shot blasting and grinding. And in the later years, recently, we got the planetary grinding systems. But there's still a lot of upside with scarifying and shaving. It's a low cost of equipment investment. The largest machines cost between $17,000 to $19,000. Low cost of consumables. Those cutters that used on scarifiers have long life and cost about 1/10 of most diamond brands out on the market today. Very low maintenance and repair cost. There's not much that can go wrong with a scarifier or a shaver. So very seldom you have to send them for repairs. A simple and fast job site setup. The drums is on the machine when you get to the job site, so it's mostly just plug in and go. Smooth and flexible operations. The machines are not so heavy, not so big. And in minimal training. It's very easy for the operator to use these machines, so there's minimal education needed for the operators. Okay, so what are they used for? I mean, removing coatings, of course, in epoxy, groving concrete for anti-slips, correcting concrete joints, and of course, especially in the United States, eliminating trip hazards, do lippage removal, concrete stock removal for fast aggregate exposure, and removing traffic lines, rubber, and other dirt on the surface. Oh, looking at the cutters, there are different kinds of cutters. The ones you see on the screen now is the most used one, and the ones we use as standard on all Fonarx products. It's a steel cutter with tungsten tips on it, and it is the most used tooling. I would say 85 to 90% of the times using a Scarifier, this is the tooling you will use. Use it for roughening the concrete and to remove old coatings. The small cutter used on the smaller machines have 5 tips, and the medium size 6 tips, and on the large cutters you can use 6 or 8 tips. Many times they want to use the 12 tip because you get less vibration on the machine, and the more tips you have on the cutter, the less wear you get on them. But of course also it gets a little bit less aggressive on the surface. There are also beam cutters. These are mainly to remove paint. It only touches the surface and makes a very minimal change of the structure on the surface. You take off paint or line marks and stuff on asphalt. And these are available for all machines as well. Then you have the milling cutters. This is a more aggressive cutter than the other two. It's for removal of coatings and thermoplastics, and of course road marks. This has a lot more impact on the surface than beam cutters and pentagonal cutters. There are different widths of these cutters. The wider they are, the more impact they make on the surface, and it actually damages the surface a little bit more. So for concrete you would use a thinner milling cutters, and on asphalt you use the wider ones. And then we have the diamond drum that we use on our shaver. So this is the difference between the Scarifier and the shaver, that on the shaver you use these kind of diamond blades, and this will cut deeper. It will also cut a little bit faster. So this is the one drum where you can use 33 or 66 blades on this drum. These are the drums. Just wanted to show that. The one to the left is where we have the milling cutters on it, and the middle one is with beam cutters, and then you have the pentagonal tungsten tip cutter on the right. We make all drums in-house. We make our own drums, very high quality. We actually use American steel for all these drums. So there, and then we get to the machine. The FR200 is the smallest machine we have. We offer it in both 110 volt and 230 volt in 60 hertz for American voltage. Weight is only 110 pounds, and the working width is 8 inch. And as you can see, you get quite close to the wall, only 2 inch from distance to the wall. And as mentioned, the pentagonal cutter is what it's called. It's the one with the tungsten tip on it. And the warranty on all electric machines are 36 months. This machine is also available in a 5.3 horsepower Honda gasoline engine. The larger unit is the VI30S. It's still a manual machine, a push machine. We offer it in 2 American voltages, low voltage 208 to 240 volt and 480 volt. 7.4 horsepower on the low voltage one. And you see the working width is 12 inch and distance to wall 3.5. So for such large machine, you get actually quite close to the wall with it. Hexagonal cutters for this one, which is the 6-tip tungsten tip cutter, comes as standard. And the warranty is 36 months. And this unit is available both in Honda gasoline, 8 horsepower, and an 8.5 horsepower Hutz diesel. The next one is the same machine again, but this one is self-propelled, so it has hydraulic traction. Same voltages, and you can see the weight is almost doubled, so the weight is now over 600 pounds on this machine. 12-inch working width, and octagonal cutters on this one, which would be the 8 or the 12-tip tungsten cutter. Also, this one we offer in gasoline and diesel. And then we have the shaver, 10-inch working width. We offer it only in 480 volts, 500 pounds, 12 horsepower. And you get 4 inches from the wall with this machine. And it comes standard with the diamond rime with 66 blades. So the weight of the machines and the cutting depth is what we show here. I can actually not see the, oh, I can move that one. That was good. All right, so you can see with the larger machines, you can cut up to almost half an inch of the concrete, depending if the concrete is softer. On hard concrete, you get like 0.25 inch, 0.24 inch actually. So it's quite fast removal. And the productivity on the machines, you will scarify about up to 330 square feet an hour with the small FR200 and 450 square feet with the VA30 and the 30SH. And the shaver close to 400 square feet an hour and up to I mean, half an inch on that DTF 25. All right. That was about it. Anyone has any questions?
So Fredrik, hi everybody. This is Vasco Chekarov with Runyon. Thank you guys again for joining us. Fredrik, that was an excellent presentation. It looks like we do have one question. Scott Metzger asked, how narrow can you cut with the smaller unit?
How narrow? You mean, what do you mean with that?
I'm not sure.
To the wall?
Yeah, I think that's probably
that's what he meant.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is on the small unit, you can be 2 inch from the wall, distance to wall. And on the larger ones, it's 3.5 inch. And with the shaver, about 4 inch from the wall.
So the question on one side here says, what's the working width of one pass of the FR200?
8 inch.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. A question that we have here too is in terms of when you would want to use in our industry, we're talking a lot about surface preparation equipment. I think right now the major surface prep piece of equipment is a standard grinder, whether it's planetary or rotary. In terms of the surface prep, when would you want to use a scarifier versus a grinder? Or is there a time when you'd want to do that? Or what are some of the pros and cons of using a scarifier versus a grinder, Fredrik?
I think when you have like small areas where you have unevenness or you know, lips and stuff that you want to grind down quickly, you would use the scarifier. You also have like small areas where you just want to do a quick surface prep. I mean, a smaller area, it's much easier to get in with the scarifier and just cut that off. And it's very cheap, the tooling cost and everything, easy setup. Also, we've seen the shavers are often used when on larger areas, when you really need to grind down a large amount, I mean, go deep with it. When you don't want to use bush hammers, it's a good alternative to bush hammer tooling on the grinders because it is cheaper.
Okay. So also looking at some of the information you provided, from what I'm seeing, you know, this would be if you got to remove some stock and let's say you got to put down an overlayment, this would be a good alternative, wouldn't you say? Instead of grinding, you could if you got to remove some uneven stock and what have you, you could use one of these, especially the shaver, to kind of prep it, and then you could prime it and pour down your material.
Yes, absolutely.
I do have another question too. What is how let's go over if you're going to scarify or if you're going to shave. And this is actually, I don't know the answer to this, so something I can learn here. How does the joints react to shaving and scarifying? Meaning if you've got some differential unevenness in a joint, and if you were to level it out, would that be a good alternative and good use for the equipment?
Absolutely. That's what I meant before. You want to do that first before you go over with the grinder. If that difference between those joints are too high, it's perfect to get in there with a shaver or a scarifier and just cut it down and then get on with the grinder.
Got it. Okay. All right.
As Fredrik was saying earlier on, we became the sole US distributor for these products back in March. We've been making a conscious effort to begin bringing in some of these spare items and spare parts. I believe that we're going to be having some in stock for spare parts and availability, I think in June, right, Fredrik?
Yes.
I believe in June we'll begin to have some of these items in stock in our Carmel location.
Yeah.
And then as we sort of move away from this pandemic and quarantine and lockdown, we'll begin to be able to go out and demo these items and begin bringing in more items as well. So we're just starting. We're at the tip of the iceberg here with bringing in all of the Donarch's parts and products, but we are going to be moving forward with all of this as the weeks and months proceed forward. And you guys will be able to find all of that on our website here in the coming weeks as well. We're making a conscious effort to begin to add all of that to our website, which is ever evolving. But if you guys need anything ASAP, feel free to contact us because we can always air freight products in. But in terms of availability in stock, we're looking at, midsummer, beginning to midsummer with all of those spare items in our headquarters.
Correct.
Well,
the
and
first
also,
machines actually shipped on Friday, so they're on their way.
Perfect.
Also, we're gonna, as you guys know, for those of you customers that are out there kind of listening in and watching this, I mean, you know that Runyon excels in hands-on, and that's something that I personally am extremely excited about, taking this equipment out in the field and doing live presentations, and we're gonna have a lot of trainings. We're really gonna take this product line and put it out in the market to the best of our ability. So if any of you guys that are watching and have, want to schedule a demo or want to see some on-site things, again, like Kristen mentioned, once we're past this whole sheltering time period, let us know. We'll get you on the calendar and we'll set something up for trainings and all that good stuff. It looks like we got some questions here.
Yep, we got 2 more questions. Go ahead, Bosco.
It looks like Gessler wants to know, what is the life expectancy of a set of 66 blades, Fredrik?
Yeah, that's a little bit difficult to answer because it depends so much on the concrete and the blade. So let me get back on that one. The next question, I can see that one, if you can cut less with the machines, in meaning setting up less cutters on the drum. Yes, you can do that, definitely.
Because you can put spacers in between the blades, correct?
Yes, you can do that. And also for the shaver, you can actually cut, lines in the concrete too. Just use a couple of blades and just cut the, like canals in the concrete.
Sure.
Great.
Any other questions, guys?
I know that Virgil has a question about how fast the machines will go over 30 mils of epoxy on the floor, but I don't know. He didn't specify which machine he was talking about.
No, I don't know. I mean, if you take the shaver, the DTF, that one will cut half an inch, and you will do like, 400 square feet of that cut. Yeah, the shaver. So in an hour, 400 square feet, you do like half an inch.
Got it. Yeah, he was specifying the shaver on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, if there's not any other questions, we really appreciate everyone joining us on our first webinar. Come back later on this week. Every day this week, we'll be having another webinar, part of the series. Register on our website, or you can get onto our Facebook. I believe that we have it on there as well. So thank you everybody for coming. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Fredrik, for giving us a great presentation.
Okay, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.